There is a space where you are all you need, where you are all you want. All there is here. Welcome to the Source Connection, conversations about who we truly are, the possibilities of creation and the new earth we are birthing, with your hosts, Tarah Long and Liz B.
Hello, welcome everyone to the Source Connection. My name is Tarah Long. I'm here with my co-host Liz B and her beautiful flowers as always. And we're going to start bringing ourselves back home, just dropping in. So let's take a moment to get comfortable and relax wherever you are if you can. Just sit or lie. And feel your body breathing. Just feel your body breathing naturally, with ease, and returning to a relaxed state. All systems relaxing and coming home. And allow yourself to be still, to really, truly be still, with absolutely nothing to do, absolutely no one to be, except for sinking into the stillness that is here, always here, ready for you to remember it. Feel yourself as this stillness. Stillness can seem silent or boring, but actually it's full, complete, and it's full of you. You as the creator. Feel yourself as this, in this stillness and this moment, this timeless now. And feel the power, the raw power that you are. Capable of so much. Busting through any thought of limit. This is where the power to create, to dream, to love, truly, this is where it comes from your source. From stillness. Feel the body breathing again. And move around however you need to, if you need to. And joining Liz and myself in this space of the source connection. Welcome.
Little trivia moment.
Yeah.
You talked about the body breathing. And a little over a week ago, I was doing a breath work session with my sister, Rhoda, and I stopped breathing. And I was in the space where there was no breath, there was nothing.
Mm.
It was complete pause. It was effortless. It wasn't planned. And it was so complete. And that had never happened to me before. And it did feel like a while. I don't know how long it was because you kind of lose that sense of time and linear matter. But being a breath work student, it was fascinating to me to just not have to breathe. And it was quite the experience.
Sounds like it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
I'm sorry, my eyes don't want to
go. No. We always joke about it, but it's always true that when we do our beginning drop-ins, it's like sometimes you just don't want to come back and use words and express. It's just like
that way.
in that way, yeah. Just like, oh.
Mm.
Yeah, so nice to share that space with you all.
Yeah. And a thought just came to me of this place where I didn't need to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about people who don't eat food,
Mm-hmm.
right? And breatharianism is something that I've been looking into for a couple of years. And what would it be like if we didn't need to eat or ate very minimal?
Yeah.
And were able to create this whole nourishing of the physical body through sunlight and air and water. Some do with no water. And that leads me to think of how many other things that we think are essential that is just a paradigm.
Yeah.
Or an idea that we haven't conquered yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or it's so fixed and ingrained in us that we can't fathom, because we couldn't fathom a world without these quote unquote essential things, then they become, unbendable, when in truth, anything is possible.
Did you ever experience when you were in Hawaii a sense of wildness to you that did not need to wash your hair every so often like you do in a city like this, or did you feel different about your body in any way or your own connection with nature? How was the experience for you? Because it's bringing me back to when last time I was in Hawaii and I just felt very animal-like in that way. My hair was just ocean bathed and it was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And salt in my skin was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we were in a place where the kitchen was outside. And I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely so different to live there. And while, I have always been someone who really likes my showers and whatnot, I definitely experienced days of, we were camping or whatever, and you're just swimming in the ocean. And yeah, the hair is woo and no makeup. I mean, I don't wear much makeup anyway, but I definitely, almost never really wore makeup there. And there's this sense of really being so close to nature. Just that, whereas in a city, you still can be. I mean, now I'm by the ocean, so I feel that way. But really in Hawaii, which also I lived in a city of Honolulu, but it's so all around you that you're just so close to it. And then it's just part of it. It's not like this separate thing, like, oh, I have to go be in nature. I have to go purposely go on this hike to be in nature. No, you just, because we are it, as we know anyway. So yeah, there was definitely moments like that, times like that, and much a sense of people feeling more free to just be them, how they just present versus like manicured or curated appearance. It's much more natural. Yeah.
I wonder what just being so close does to the fine tuning of our own frequencies. And
Mm-hmm.
I would just really, it's almost like plugging in back into the source of the physical expression of that really just cuts, just just naturally just, let loose, lets loose of like layers and conditioning and certain things. Like you said, a manicured or groomed way of presenting oneself. And like I love dressing up.
Mm-hmm.
Expressing myself through the way I dress and everything. And while I was there, I could have worn the same thing almost every day. And again,
Yeah.
like I like my showers. I
Yeah.
like the sense of, I feel clean, and there's something about the ritual of the water and everything. But it was just so different to me,
Mm.
and I wonder how much more. I want to use the word disconnected we are from ourselves when we are also away from that,
Mm-hmm.
physical expression, all of that.
Mm.
Talked about it here before, where
Yeah.
sometimes you meet people, that are just so clear, and they don't have a lot of degrees or world experience and all that, but it's just so precise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is whether you're in Hawaii or the middle of LA, as we are, that's always possible, right? It's just the environment of living in a place like Hawaii. It's just there. So it's like creating an environment for yourself where it's more readily just there and accessible and available, even though of course this connection is possible anywhere. Um, yeah, I definitely, well, because I lived in Austin, Texas before Hawaii. So I was always on track for like, let's wear flip flop, call them slippers in Hawaii, but just wearing sandals or flip flops like everywhere all day. And the dressing up totally shifted from like growing up in Minnesota, living in Minnesota, and it was a totally different experience. And now moving back to the mainland and being in LA, I've carried that sense of casualness with me, and that's just my jam now. Even though yeah, I do like to dress up sometimes, but even my dress up still is it's not like LA dress up. I just can't be bothered. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
So all of that is just who we think we are.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't mean anything. None of it.
Right.
It's just whatever feels good for you, And some people feel more connected near ocean. Some people feel more connected in the mountains. Some people feel more connected in a city. It's just there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever feels right for you.
When you say some people feel more connected in the city,
Mm-hmm. There's many layers to that for sure.
Of course. Trying to I guess connect or understand how does that come about? Because when I drive 2 hours and go to Joshua Tree and there's no cell phone reception, my body just completely just wants to. And there's a different energy and there's a different way that the body sustains itself in the city versus in a place where it's a little bit more off grid. And so it's just me trying to figure out, I wonder what that expression looks like. And of course, it's going to be different for different people. And maybe because of the pressure, then there is an impulse, with the same amount of reaction to just thrive and then really burst through the environment. So it could be that too.
Yeah, or just where you feel you're meant to be at any given time,
Mm.
Could be the country, could be a city, like right now you and I are both in a city where sometimes my mind will be like, well, no, I really want to be in the middle of nowhere, that would feel really good in many ways. But for whatever reason, this is actually where I feel I'm meant to be, whether that is to I think we talked about last time, hosting the party, just holding the vibration and the frequency for people, for all the people, which of course, as we know, a city is so dense that it needs us, Liz.
No wonder it's like, sis, do you feel exhausted today? Yeah, me too.
Yes, and yes, of course, our nervous systems, our systems, probably, being here, it's way different than if we we're frolicking in a meadow all day. Oh, yeah.
I am getting closer and closer to wanting to be frolicking in the meadows out there. But I have this, I don't want to say specific, but I feel that it would only make sense in community, through community, with community and all of that, because I think that the time for I got it and I'll do it all by myself and let's have this little family units where we're just trying to make it happen, that just feels like so old paradigm. Like, oh, that's done. That how well did that work?
Yeah, not too well, as we see, separating ourselves into little boxes, taking care of ourselves and our family, and that's it. And which sometimes I get that's all people have a bandwidth for, especially if they are in the whole system and paradigm of living, not doing anything they love to do. So I
yeah, which then leads me to something of what we talked about, like that it's almost like man, I'm having a hard time with my words right now, but okay. My eyes just want to be closed, and I'm just
close them, sister, close them.
The words what?
She's swaying back and forth for my Spotify folks.
When you said, especially if somebody is still in that system, is still in that paradigm of how we're raised, how we believe the world operates, the mirages that were sold, the ideas about who we think people are and what they do, and how they get things in this rat wheel And most of us find ourselves at times of wanting to achieve more, wanting to have more or something. There's always something better and like of a, grander quality to it. Um, and you just, once you kind of, once you're able to look at things with courage and you decide to not ignore the truth of reality, and I'm talking about our physical experience, not the ultimate truth of who we are and all of that. There is a level of disenchantment that comes with it, and you start moving away from that. And I think the excitement comes to the possibilities of what we're able to create and recreate and imagine and reimagine. And what I wanted to say was that at times I find myself wanting to broadcast the old, to alert people, or to help people understand how the mechanics of things have been, moving and the players and all of that. And yet, more and more, my own calling is to create the new, create the new, create the new. And how at times, not often, and less and less often, I'll feel the pull of like, oh, just wait a minute. People just need to understand. They need to know. Yet I think about everyone's option to know or not know, to ignore or to not ignore. And just again coming back to what is, and just taking my own space, my own place at every moment.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful foray into this transition that we all find ourselves in, of still feeling somehow pulled back into the old way that is dying, like we just talked about before, that is dying no matter what we do or don't do.
Hmm.
It's already dead, basically. And if we feel an impulse and a moment to speak up or to do something or to say something, that's perfect. But like you said, I also feel this, like most I feel I feel the call mostly to be in the space of creating and birthing the new, and that doesn't mean that I'm like out building sustainable housing and growing my own food. It doesn't mean I'm doing all these things, at least not right now. But when I say creation, that to me is also just holding the space and the frequency. It's hosting the party. It's being the host of the party. It's holding it like we're doing right now as we have this conversation, as we connect to stillness. Like that is the creation of this new. And like we were talking about before, the mind can get so carried away and busy and like, I'm not doing enough. I need to be doing, I need to be active. I need to be. And sometimes, yeah, if it feels good, go for it. Right. But it's not. And we're all doing things actively, even if we forget that we are. You know what I mean? We are. We're right now. We're creating this conversation for others to listen to and connect with how they feel to connect with. And so it can look an infinite amount of ways. And I forget that too, especially last year in 2020. I had a lot of moments of, what else can I be doing right now? I feel like so much needs to be done. So many people need so much. But I didn't feel any impetus to take a concrete action in the world. It just wasn't, I didn't have it because I was doing my own processing and purification and all of these things. So yeah, it's a beautiful conversation to.
Yes, to all of that. Yes. And what is the world that we are creating, and what does it look like to us?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a $1 million question, isn't it?
It's parts of it are very clear to me.
Yeah.
Nature provides everything, and we understand our own nature like being, and we are in a symbiotic relationship to it. It gives us shelter, it gives us food, and we give back the love of nourishing that growth and that energetic exchange. We house it, and we color it, and we enjoy the bounce of it, and we give back um, through laughter and support and love and sharing and growing and birthing and just all of that. And individuals are so self connected, and they're so in tune with who they are, that there's no need to control anybody else. There's no need to tell anybody else what to do. There's no need to give authority of oneself to anybody outside of oneself. There's no large body of control. There is an innate trust in self and an innate trust in others. There's so much joy. There's beauty. There's no greed, because there's enough. There's plenty space. There's plenty food. There are plenty resources for everyone to have all their needs met, and to finally share the beauty of life, their hearts movements together. Adults don't need to work on anything that they don't want to work, because they have all they need. And so everything that they do is enjoy with joy, for joy, share joy. Yeah.
Amen, sister. That's it. That is it. And everything physical that might be manifested is just being manifested, bless you, from that place. So we don't even need to know, what is it going to look like? What's it going to be? How are the schools going to, education for our children? It's all going to come naturally and effortlessly from this place of nature, community, connection, self-authority. Like, that's it. It's so simple, as we always talk about. And it's just a bunch of beings who have no sense of lack, who experience no sense of lack of anything ever.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so deep.
And just, and this is a perfect moment to just invite anybody listening to feel that for yourself. What does that feel like? To not know what lack is, not experience that. What does it feel like? How would you show up in this next moment if you knew absolutely with no doubt that there's enough and that you're enough and it's all enough? What would be different?
That you are enough, that I am enough, that we are enough. We had $1 for every time we say how simple this is. Just in this however many episodes that we've done.
Yeah. It all comes every time. We come back to that, don't we?
maybe this a podcast should be called "It's So Simple."
It's simple. Yeah. It's simple. Period. It's simple.
They were here to tell you how simple this is. In
That's
case
right.
From last week, it is
every episode. Every episode, we're just going to remind you how simple it is.
Join us in this episode so we can remind you.
But it's amazing to me how powerful that is. Just reminding ourselves of that, because we're so deluded into thinking that it's not simple and it can't be simple. And if it's worth anything, it can't be simple.
And how most of the lies that we've been sold are based on us not being enough at some level.
Yeah. I mean, us not being enough, our bodies not being enough, not being capable. I mean, look at what we're doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Medicalizing freaking children because we believe somehow their bodies don't have what it takes to live on this planet, literally, to exist.
And let's just, I don't know the number, but I think we've been here for 1,000 years. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we know a thing or two. Maybe the body kind of knows what it's doing. I mean,
Maybe.
let's
I don't know though, Liz. I don't know.
let's just say maybe, there's always a chance of, not being what we think. So we're not going to be so presumptuous right now. But how did we forget that? How did we forget? And if anything, this is the time in at least our lifetimes that we reclaim what's right and true, that we know that we are capable, that we know that we are enough and we're more than enough. We know, and we claim that we know. And no weapon against us shall prosper.
Amen, sister. I hear that gospel choir singing.
You the choir.
You the choir. Oh, we gotta add some choir music.
No weapon against us shall prosper.
Shall prosper.
Proud soars.
And to be clear, we're not just talking about certain kind of weapons. I think y'all are smelling what we're cooking. You smelling what we're cooking?
The spices are good today.
Yeah.
Yes. Throw in a little sprinkle of salt and it shall be good.
And it shall be done.
In every aspect. And the clearer we get of that, the clearer the frequency gets and the broadcast, it's less noisy, it's less interrupted, there's less static.
And the less we feel pulled to go and check in on that other frequency.
Yes.
Go check in and what's happening? What's going on? What do I need to do?
Right.
Because it's just so far away from who we really are. So infinite miles between us. All we have to do is just know and claim what we are. That's it. It's so simple. Simple.
Subliminal messages. They're showing right now in the screens. You don't see them, but they're even the subliminal audios.
Yeah, this whole time we've been sending you subliminal messages.
This makes me think of something really funny. My mother, while in body, she had this phase where she would listen to these tracks of subliminal messages, but the thing was so confusing because it was not, you know how some tracks they say you can't really hear the messages that are coming through because it's such a low frequency, right? That it'll be absorbed, but you're not picking it up with your ears.
You can't hear the words. Yeah, right.
ones my mom were doing were like layers and layers of like, you can do this way, you can do that. I remember when she used to like play and my brother and I were like, oh my goodness, are you not going insane? This is probably like damaging your brain because it was so noisy. And it was like, you can do this, you're worth it. And then another voice, but it was one voice on top of the other, like multi voices. And it sounded like this insane asylum.
Like someone inside someone's head that's just like going and going. Yeah.
And when we would bring it up, like, Mom, they're just, okay, let's just turn this off. Because at times when I would go visit, and this is when my brother still lived at home, they had this agreement where, like, they would take turns speaking the music or the soundtrack in the car or whatever thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it was her turn, left her, like after one time, my brother and I would be like, oh my God, Mom, please, can you pick something else? Can we do, it's your turn, but can we do something else? Because it sounded so confusing. It's so like maniac. Oh my God. Oh, I love
Oh, bless your mama's heart.
Yeah. She overcame a lot. She did a lot of work while she was here. I'm very proud of her.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm proud of her.
Good for your mama.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we don't need those tapes.
I'm gonna ask my brother to see if he like knows the source so I can like find like if there's a video or something so we can if I find it.
Yes, so let's link it.
So we can understand what I'm talking, because it's like it's a different thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm writing it down so I can
write it down.
Oh man.
We need subliminal messaging.
I had a really interesting dream with my mother. Not this past night, but the night before, where when somebody passes and sometimes you have like a pamphlet when you go to the service or something, and like there's
like sure, yeah, and the songs or whatever's being said. Yeah.
I was looking at one for my mother, and we didn't have any of that during her transition, so it was a totally new thing that I was looking, and I'd say, I just wish I could hug her just one more time. Like just, and then she appeared right next to me and I'd say, Mom, you died so far away from home. Like you just died you were in a different country.
Yeah.
That was such a hard thing because we needed to figure out how to get your body home and all of that. That's all I remember. And then she would just kind of smile at me. And that's all I remember. But I remember waking up and going, what was that all about? I mean, she died at home. She died in her home.
Oh, she did die back in Brazil?
Yes, she died in her home, in her bed. And
okay.
I was thinking at the projection of my own, where I was, when she transitioned here, and then I had to go down and all of that. But anyhow, I don't know why I'm bringing this up. We're talking about my mom, and it was just an interesting dream, and I was happy to be with her, like her physical expression and all of that. It was good.
Oh, what's your mom's name? I don't even know your. Oh, you don't have to share it, but
yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay. I'm like, what's your mama's name?
She has a cute French name.
Oh, is there French in your? Do you guys?
No, not that I know of. It just happens. Well, I'm going to say French name because the only other person I met with her name, she's named after her grandmother on her mom's side. But the only other person that I know with her name is a French woman. So I'm assuming, and it's not a Brazilian name, Portuguese name. So I'm guessing it's a French name, but I don't know. It's very unique. And
she sounds like a unique lady.
Yeah. Quite the time with that lady.
Ooh.
Quite the time. Grateful for our experience. And I used to say, Mom, let's just do it this time so we don't have to come back and do this again. Like, let's just things out here, please.
Yes. Let's just finish. Let's complete this cycle in this lifetime.
Let's do it.
Well, I think you did, girl. I think you did, because I think we're going to be here for a while.
Should I laugh or cry?
And we'll leave that for another episode. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think this episode would be like, we'll be here for a while.
We'll be here for a while. Thousands of years.
All right, I just took it to another level.
Get to another level. I know. I'm sorry, but hey, if we're existing in utopia, true utopia.
Perfect.
I mean, I'll stick around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I'd like to, I don't know what we're running on time, but I just had a thought of something.
Yeah.
To wrap it up. How many things, like we've talked about before, how many things have we not accomplished yet because we haven't even considered the possibility of that? And so the thought that I'd like to leave us all with today is that until we meet again, maybe let's think about something that we think is impossible, that we would like to see happen while we're here and while we're creating this new, beautiful experience for everyone. Let's see how that feels. And maybe, just, a paradigm of something like, I like to see people flying, for example.
Sure.
That's just something we say, well, that's impossible. Well, because we think it's impossible, but is it really?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So something of that, of just getting our wheels
spinning
about the possibilities of the beautiful things that could happen, that we could actually experience while we're here for the next few thousand years. Say that?
Well, if we're here for that long, girl, I'm going to come up with a whole list. I'm going to have a huge list. So you can think of one, or you can think of 100 things that you think are impossible that you would like to see.
Share with us, because
share with us. Yes.
When we share, we superpower it.
Yes.
The beautiful thing about sharing is that all of a sudden it's not only your thinking, but you've planted the seed, and then we're upspeeding consciousness and the expression of that in the material world. So as we share these possibilities, we're creating a ripple of more and more energy towards that. And then
boom. And all the people who resonate with that thing that you dreamed go, oh yeah. And then it's a seed for them, and and on and on and on. So share that with us. And also, I'd love to know, when you felt yourself without an experience of lack, what did that feel like too? I want to know what that felt like. So please do share with us in the comments of wherever you're listening to this, or you can always email us at thesourceconnection@protonmail.com. And soon you'll be able to find us, or probably when this is aired, on Patreon.
Yes, we're coming up with fun things. So we'll see.
Fun things over on Patreon, and we'll be interacting with you guys too.
What brew we're going to be brewing over there?
What brew we brew? Juicy brew. Thank you, everyone. So much love.
Thank you.
Bye.